Ladies and gentlemen, I've got myself a Coors Original the banquet beer, and it's Tuesday night. It's 7:02, and it's That's Cool Drink. It's going to be sweet. Tonight's going to be absolutely awesome. Travis Deet-Er-Leeeeeee is on tonight. And if you guys don't know, Travis has a super duper cool square body 4-wheel drive truck. And it was a turbo LS kind of deal, but he decided to get himself into more trouble and switch it back to, and I think we'll talk to him a little bit about it, but back to naturally aspirated big block Chevy. I know his dad's truck was a naturally aspirated big block truck, but he is making his way back there. But this is his ride here. He did came out on race week. This may actually be on race week. Just kind of like on a one day, he showed up at Thunder Valley with his truck and made a couple of passes. And I think he went like 950 on drag radials. So yeah, man, it's going to be sweet. But this is the dude who's dumb enough to build a truck not once and make it quick and super respectable, but then take it apart and do it again because he's also an idiot like the rest of us. His new iteration is going to be sweet. And I wore a 3 is better than 2 shirt because he also works on the Elite Motorsports team and with prostock stuff. He actually drives the rig for Aaron Stanfield, I believe, maybe. Yes. And he's also works on that crew as well. So he does the clutch stuff with that. He helps with the transmission with that. We'll talk about a ton of that. And we caught up in Vegas. Stevie and I went out to Vegas for our like mini honeymoon and ended up at the racetrack because that's what you do when you're in Vegas. And of course, ran into a couple of our buddies, Travis and Declan. They have a couple of trucks. Declan's truck, big block Mopar on some sauce. And of course, Travis's was the Turbo LS and going back to the big block. But I am going to harass him to put 3 pedals in that truck. Actually, I talked to him a little bit about that at Vegas. And he was like, man, if I could come up with an adapter to put my 205 on the back of a Liberty, we can, whatever, we'll figure that out. It's going to be sweet. But yeah, dude, tonight's going to be absolutely cool. He graciously moved over. And so thanks to all of my viewers. Thanks to all you kind of regulars that are regular Tuesday night drinkers with us. Thanks for coming for Wednesday night. I didn't take last night off though. I had a couple just for you guys, because that's how I roll. But part deux tonight with Travis, and they were testing their asses off at Tulsa yesterday, and he was like, I don't even know when we're going to get around to this. And I was like, what about tomorrow? And he's like, dude, I just got to drive tomorrow. So he's actually in a truck stop right now trying to flee off the lot lizards and talk to us about That's Cool Drink and about his truck and about Prostock. And he's waiting. Actually, we were talking a little behind the scenes. He's waiting for Declan to show up with Erica Ender's car because they are making their way out to do racing. So that's cool. And Declan's obviously a race week type dude, and he has been around as well with sick week and those kind of things. But tonight's going to be a saucy one. We're going to talk about shooting beauty rings all over the racetrack with this sweet truck. And it's going to be an absolute awesome time. Hey, it's old Red Hat Scotty. What's going on, Mr. Red Hat? I saw him. He and his family were up in South Dakota checking out the sights, and I cruised over and had a beer with him as well. So thanks for tuning in, Mr. Red Hat Scotty. Also, big thanks to everyone. I know this is a busy night tonight. We got the Triple B guys were over doing the beers, burnouts, and beards deal. And Mike Narks and Eric are over doing the Drag Driver Pete show. So lots and lots of our types of folks out there. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in that are tuning in. You don't have to watch this live. You can watch this after the fact. Go check it out on YouTube. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'm also doing a bunch of stupid stuff with all of my other cars right now. It's Hondas all the time. If you watch what's going on, lots of cool stuff happening on there. So, hey, Gary, thanks so much for tuning in. Half of the Hot Carl crew. Yeah, man. My only person ever to pass out on That's Cool Drink, Mr. Hot Carl, Dino Cardella. That one went down in history. Pretty good times. Mama finished it out. But guys, without further ado, tonight's going to be absolutely awesome. Let's get Travis Deet-Er-Leeeeeee out here for episode number 73. And if you haven't heard, next week for episode number 74, I have the man, Mr. Mike Finnegan, fresh off of a roadkill-esque show of moving his Rotson with David Freiberger back to his house from SoCal or somewhere in that neck of the woods. So next week is going to be totally cool. This week is going to be totally cool. And it just keeps getting better, guys. So that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Pass this around. Stupid music incoming. And then we will have Mr. Travis Deet-Er-Leeeeeee. Here we go. Episode 7. Mr. Chris Story is excited for Travis to be on, and that makes two of us, my friend.
What's up, man?
Dude, thanks for joining us from the truck stop.
Absolutely.
You got the Aaron Stanfield prostock car sitting just feet from you.
Yes, sir. It's to my left right here, and I got his dad's car right behind that. I carry both Stanfields.
Attaboy.
Yep.
Let's just start there. So you work full time with a prostock team. Tell us what the hell that's like.
It's not what everybody thinks it is. It's not we have fun, but it's not a party. I can tell you that. Honestly, this job is I've pulled more hours at this job than I have anywhere else. It looks fun from the outside, and it is. Don't get me wrong. We have a ton of fun, but man, it's just, especially the truck drivers, like, from testing to getting the track, leaving the track. And when you suck, it's even worse, because you're doing things you normally wouldn't do. It's just, it's honestly nonstop. It really is.
It's a cool job, but it's a job still. I mean, it's work.
Absolutely.
Like and especially middle of the season, like you guys are humping. And like you said, truck drivers, man, they don't do nothing until you show up, and you're the last dude to leave because you can't do nothing until they're finished.
Correct. And with how we do it, and a lot of teams are this way, the truck drivers also work on the cars. So it's not like we just drive, show up to the track, and do nothing. We get to the track, we set up, we work on the car all weekend, we tear down, get in the truck, head home or the next racetrack. So it's just, it is a lot, but again, it's a lifestyle that you have to love it. Because if it's not your passion, you won't be here long. I mean, if you're here just for a job, this ain't it. And we're fortunate enough with the guys that we have that we all share the same feeling. Like we want to be here. We're not here for a paycheck. When I first started here, I took a paid cut from my last job to come do this deal.
Right.
And I remember when I told my dad when this offer came up, and he's like, "Man, are you sure you want to do that? Like, there's no benefits, like, all that stuff is gone now." And I was like, "But look at what I could do." And now my dad comes out to every test session in Tulsa. He's ate up with it. I mean, both my parents are, but my dad, like, he can't get enough of it. He thinks it's the coolest thing ever. And I mean, it makes it that much easier because at the time, it's easy to convince me one way or the other, and I struggle with that a lot. So when he was kind of unsure about it, then I started to be unsure about it.
Of course.
And then
naturally.
I was like, yeah, and well, it's your dad, like you take his advice, it just is what it is.
Yep.
And
why wouldn't you?
When I stepped off and did it, I mean, man, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I tell Richard Freeman, boss man, all the time that as long as they're racing, I'll be here. So
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it a lot.
Well, and like you said, like it's more work when you suck. And you guys, you kind of joined, and you guys were on top. You were winning races. You were in the winner's circle. There were a lot of, you guys were kicking ass with all the cars on the elite side. And and you were saying, it's kind of ebbs and flows. Like when you're dealing with cars that are so rule specific, one team doesn't typically make like a ton more horsepower than another team, and it's they're all the same weight, and they all have the same tires, and they all have everything. There's a ton of stuff that's spec'd. So you're talking if you have 500-inch motor that makes, what sort of power do they make? Crankshaft. I mean, you don't have to tell me exact numbers, but
between 13 and 14 is pretty average.
Yeah. So if you make 50 more horsepower, dude, you run away with that field.
Big time.
Dude, if you make 20 more horsepower, you're just talking, if you're 100th better than everybody else at every other track, you're going to win a ton of races, like a ton of races.
Yeah. So a tight field in pro stock, like your top half, I mean, you'll be within a few thou of each other within qualifying. I mean, it's nothing to see that. Last year it happened on, multiple occasions. It's a extremely, extremely difficult class. Right. Some would argue that it's the most difficult class. And I feel the same way, only because you have in this industry, pro stock industry, it's the least amount of people in it. So pro mod world, huge, tons of people in it, between engine builders, crew chiefs, tuners, drivers. Pro mod's huge.
Right.
Well, you come to pro stock and you have probably 5 people in the country that I would consider could build a competitive engine to compete. And it's just, it's so difficult. I mean, you're right. If we find 5 on the dyno, we're stoked, right?
That's like that's a huge deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And, in 2022, when I came on here, that was my first year. I mean, Erica and the whole team really, but Erica had a runaway season. I mean, we show up to a racetrack and I just knew she was going to win. I mean,
most of the time people were racing for second. I mean, it's just second or third. I mean, if she didn't win, she'd run her up. And
this year, it's the opposite. KB is doing what we did to them in 22, and as much as it sucks, it's part of it. I mean,
and like you were saying, like the rules pack, like everything. If you guys haven't followed pro stock, it used to be 2 4-barrel carburetors, 500 cubic inches, and I think they had a few. I think they limited rev limits, and they still do. But now it's electronic fuel injection. So they've switched the intake, so it has the one big throttle body. And it's big. It's a big oval, crazy. I couldn't even imagine the CFM flow rate. It's crazy. Because it's not round, but it's
an oval.
It probably is something like a 3,500 CFM, throttle blade or something. But you're moving the air in different ways. So all of this. Everything that you learned for 30 years, you throw out the window. Everything is brand new. And it's been that way, and then they make little changes here and there, and it changes just enough where those guys make 5 more horsepower, or you guys make, this RPM quicker or whatever. And that's what keeps that class crazy, but it's such a hard class to get involved in because there's huge multi-car teams, and it's just huge money. That's part of it.
And I see comments all the time, people complaining about the 2 super teams, Elite and KB. I get it, but at the same time, a few years ago, I mean, pro stock was hanging on by a thread.
Right. There were 12 car fields.
It was bad.
It was not good.
No. So Richard ventured out and did his own thing and expanded he kind of introduced a new way for new racers to come in.
Right.
Pretty much write a check, show up with your helmet. We take care of everything else. and
Yep.
it did get more cars in the class.
And that's, I mean, that was sort of his deal with Erica. Like, let's scour kind of these old junior dragster like champions, these people that really shined in that, and let's put them behind the wheel of this car with a clutch pedal.
Yep.
And it turns out that she kicked total ass at it.
Oh yeah.
So why not? Like, oh shoot, well, we found some talent here. Let's just keep pumping that in, and then you get dudes like the Quadras that show up, and like you have an entire family that can be competitive when you put them in an elite car. That's awesome stuff, dude.
Quadra boys that whole family is extremely nice. I mean, you won't find or meet a nicer family out at the track. I think in 2021, at the end of the season, Elite kind of started taking them under their wing a little bit, and from then on, all their equipment comes back to our shop, and we take care of it like it's our own. We race it like it's our own.
It's awesome.
They pretty much get to show up, drive the race cars. And, the three boys now, they're running the business, so that's why they're kind of running a partial season this year. Which you gotta pay the bills somehow. So
I mean, it ain't pro stock unless
it ain't racing. I can tell you that.
Yeah, unless you're standing on the winner's circle every single week.
Yeah.
You're unfortunately you got to pay bills some other way.
Well, and that's the thing about it. I come from the street car world and drag and drive, and I had to do everything myself, pay for everything myself, right? So when I came over here, I was like, I don't understand all this money being spent. And you're not, the return is not, they're not here for the money. And I just couldn't understand why they would do that. But it kind of relates to our level. Like it's in your budget, you can do that type deal. And that's just what they're doing. So it's just on a lot higher scale is all it is. It's the same thing.
Right.
So once I got over that, I kind of understood a little bit more. But at first I was like, I just don't understand why these guys are spending all this money to come do this for almost little to none return. But the same way with our street cars, you spend all that money on it, and you're not getting anything back out of it.
Because it's awesome as hell.
Yeah.
Because when you let off the violence pedal, it does cool ass shit. So
absolutely, it's just on a different scale is all. So it just took me a minute to get used to. Completely different world from what I came from.
Great segue. Where did you come from? So I guess we'll kind of step back into your truck, and then let's move all the way back, and then I want to tie it all back into pro stock. But tell us about your square body truck. What is it? Where is it now? What is it now? Who is it now? Why is it now? And what was it?
Well, right now, it is sitting at the shop, not completely in pieces, but not together. I just don't have time. I mean, in this year especially, we really don't have time. But I took it apart at the end of 2023. So it's been a whole year since it's, a whole season that it's just been sitting. But so I had the Turbo LS set up in it, and man, I drove that thing everywhere. I mean, I did just about everything I wanted to do with it. My original goal was mid-10s. When I first LS swapped that deal, I just wanted to go mid-10s. Well, you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
You go mid-10, you're like, well, we go a little bit faster.
Right.
So I went a little bit faster. Next thing you know, I'm going 10-0s. And I'm like, I'm pretty close to 9s. I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
Right.
So kept turning it up, and went to made a 999 pass. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Kind of kept dormant from the track.
A mid-9.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's what I was getting to. So it kind of went dormant for a little bit at the 999. I was like, I don't really consider that a 9-second truck. Like, I went 999, but that's like barely.
Yeah, you're in the 9s, but like not.
Yeah, not enough that I want to claim that.
Right.
So between taking it apart and putting it back together, because this is like the 10th time I've done this, I put it back together again and went on a couple race weeks. came back, and it was actually I want to say it was in either in 22 or 23. It was the last day at Thunder Valley, and we were coming home from a race. I don't remember which race it was, but
Yeah,
I can't remember. And I made it out to the track, and I had just enough time for 2 runs. The first run, I think it went like a 10-10 or a 10-0 or something like normal. And I just wanted to, get it down through there. I want, look at the data log, make sure it's safe and all that. And like 10 minutes later, they were calling last call, like final run, everybody get your runs in. And granted, I drove this thing to the track. So it was already heat soaked, just made the run.
Right.
It was heat soaked again. And it was hot that day too. It was not cold.
It was a 100 degree day.
Yeah. So I was like, well, okay. So I just drove it back up into the lanes, and I'm thankful for Matt Frost and June and you guys just, kind of let me just sneak in there a little bit, per the circumstances.
Right.
And
you didn't pay an entry fee or nothing, right? You just sort of dude, just come in and bring a helmet and let's come be idiots, dude. Yeah. And you're like, hell yeah, let's go.
So I went down through that second pass, and mind you, I hadn't changed spark plugs in that thing since I first started that engine, which was probably a year old. Right. I never checked the gap, nothing. And I went down through there, and it started missing a little bit in high gear. And I just stayed in it anyway because, we're there.
Because that's what you do, right?
Yeah. Man, I got off the return road and got that time slip, and it kind of took me a second because I was like, there's no way this is mine. It went at 962 at like 136 or something like that because it was missing. And I was like, there's no way it just did that. And sure enough, it did. So at that point, I could finally claim a 9-second truck. And
how fast was it? How quick was it?
What do you mean? Oh, it went 962, I think.
962.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that was deep enough into the nines where I knew I could claim a 9-second truck.
Yeah, that's a 9 and a lot.
Oh yeah,
like by a lot. And you had drag radials on it then, but you were kind of like you were tickling in the hard tire stuff and.
Yep. So, and I'll get to it in a little bit, but so I did that, and the converter on that pass, I learned the converter was too tight because it was for the previous combination.
Okay.
And so I drove it back to my apartment at the time. I had a 1-car garage and barely fit in it. And this is when I first moved to the city because I started working for Elite.
Right.
And drove it back to the apartment, jacked it up, took the converter out. I sent it off to Circle D, which I'm wearing today. And we were gone for 2 weeks. So I took it out that night, and we were leaving the next morning to go race again. And I wanted to send it off so they could work on it for the 2 weeks
while you're gone.
Yeah, get it back, and then I could just put it back in the truck. So I did that, and we got it back, and I don't remember how long it was until I got to go back down again, but the fastest I ever got it to go was a 950 at 142, and that's where it left off at.
That's some stank. And what sort of weight for that thing?
The last I weighed it was 4880 with me in it.
God. And you're a beanpole, so it's 4650 all day long.
Yeah.
More.
It was not light, that's for sure. And I mean, my favorite part about that truck was how I drove it on the street, I could race it on the track except for tires. And if I wanted to drive on radials, I would just show up, let it cool down for a little bit, and then go race it. Like I wouldn't take plugs out. I wouldn't change anything. I'd maybe put ice in the ice tank, and that's it. Sometimes I'd forget to do that.
Hell yeah.
And, it was a flex fuel setup, so it was on 91, E85, just whatever I could find.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy to think that I was able to put that together and do that, because I don't really come from a drag racing background. I just come from, my dad was a gearhead in high school.
Okay.
Just like, everyone was in the 70s and 80s, and my brother and I, we grew up go-kart racing, and that's kind of where the racing started. So when I was younger, I was doing baseball and then I started racing, and my parents came to me and said, "Hey, you can only do one or
Choose
the other because you're missing this for this, so you got to pick one." And I ended up picking racing, and I'm glad I did.
Hell yeah.
Nothing wrong with baseball. I like where I'm at a lot. So
Hell yeah. Speaking of your old man, this was right before race week, and you were finishing your truck. Your dad's truck caught on fire.
Yeah.
And I thought it was your truck because
a lot of people did.
It's this. I mean, it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Truck, and
same year.
I was like, "Oh no, dude! This kid just." I mean, and how old were you when you first did your first race week? When this went down? How old were you?
It was COVID year 2020, so I would have been 23. Yeah, 23. Yep.
Yeah, so still just a pup, and I was like, dude, this kid burned his freaking truck down, and then come to find out it's your dad's truck, and you were still able to bring yours out and wail on the beauty rings out there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah, so you're. I mean, the tree, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No. And what's funny is I had mine before he did.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that thing. My dad and I, we worked at the same company at that time, and we had just got that thing converted to a multi-port injection deal. So it was a 496. He bought it with a 468 in it, turbo 400. Had the engine redone, went to a 496 with a carburetor, and then I talked him into doing the EFI deal because that, I was in the middle of my stuff, so I was like, you got to do the EFI thing. It's way better.
Right.
So we did that, and that was the first morning he was going to drive it to work.
Oh.
And he had made it to Tulsa Raceway Park, and from what I remember, he said he was rolling down the road, and all of a sudden, like, the gauge just started acting a little funky, and he started seeing a glow outside, and all of a sudden he could see a glow through the vents.
Oh.
So that's when he realized it was on fire. So he started rolling the windows down, and they got down about, 2 inches and stopped. That's all he could get. And he was pulling into the entrance of Tulsa Raceway Park. And I think it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock that morning. He called me. I almost couldn't understand what he was saying because he was freaking out.
Right.
And I mean, he just told me his truck was on fire. I was like, what do you mean it's on fire? And he tried to explain it to me, and I just knew his truck was on fire.
Right.
So I threw my clothes on, I hopped in my truck, and I'm flying down the highway because he told me where he was at. And I get there, the fire department's there, and they're putting it out. And he's off over, on the fence line just by himself. And, man, I walked up to the truck, and I lost it. I just lost it. It didn't even take me 2 seconds. And I just lost it. So opened the hood, and it was all gone. I mean, everything under the hood was just gone.
Right.
And we got super, super lucky. They got it out as quick as they did, because if they hadn't gotten there, that whole thing would be gone. I mean, it would have been junk. So we threw it on a trailer, took it back home. We both went to work that day, and when we got back home, we just talked about what we wanted to do with it. And at the time, I thought, now's the perfect opportunity to kind of make more of a drag truck out of this thing than what mine is, because it's two-wheel drive. And so it ended up not being a drag truck, which is fine. I'm taking mine back to more of a daily thing.
Right.
And we can, get into that later, but he took his to more of a show truck. That thing, It is nicer than what it was before. So there was a shop in Tulsa. I don't remember the guy's name. I think it's Dustin. I don't remember his last name, but they painted it, and that paint turned out, flawless. It looks amazing.
Hell yes.
And
that's awesome.
We got it back home, and it sat for a little bit because just time and money, just like mine now.
Right.
And we eventually got hooked up with Mickey Testner out of Norman, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And he started to more get into the C10 stuff. So we took it to him, and he finished it off, and he absolutely crushed it.
Nice, dude.
It turned out way better than we ever thought it could have. And there's a couple things we changed now just because our vision then isn't what it is now.
Right.
But I mean, every time I look at his truck, it makes me want to convert mine to two-wheel drive, put some RC comps on it, and just roll just like how his is. But I
Right.
just can't do it. I cannot get myself to do it, no matter what. I just can't.
Well, I mean, your truck is it's a 4-wheel drive truck.
Yeah.
I think it has to live that life. It just does. And again, I give you some crap about putting a stick in it.
Yeah.
and like you said, like I would, if I'm going to put a stick in it, I'd like to put a Liberty in it. And because why not? I mean, you work with them every day. You know those things inside and out.
Yep.
And you know a guy that has spares.
Yeah,
so,
we got plenty of that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm with you. We just need to divorce mount the 205.
Well, and see, that's the problem. If I was going to put a Liberty in it, I'd probably just go ahead and make it two-wheel drive. And so back to where the truck is now. I love LS swaps. I do, and I get.
And you did. I mean, you did one. It was a competitive truck. It was a fun truck.
I understand why people do it because they're easy. The aftermarket is huge. There's support for it everywhere. But every time, so the last couple of years, one of our pro stock cars have been in SEMA. Mm-hmm. And me and one other guy usually stay behind to put the car in the show and get it out.
Right.
Dude, every car we walk up to has an LS engine in it.
Right.
And I'm so sick of seeing them. My whole MO is to be a little bit different, and that's why I started with the truck I have, because it's four-wheel drive. At the time, nobody was really doing four-wheel drive stuff. I mean, it wasn't as big as what it is now.
No, totally. I mean, now Cletus is doing an all-wheel drive shootout. Yeah. Like, I mean, that's like that. Your truck in Turbo LS form would have been an absolute killer in the inaugural version of that.
I think so. I mean, I could have turned it up a little bit more and made it,
Right.
So the reason it's going the way it is now, the truck would fit the daily driver class to a T, except for the fact it's all-wheel drive.
Right.
And if I can't race it in that form, then I just don't want to race it. I'm not gonna have the racy feeling to it if I can't actually come home and race it in the class that it fits.
Right.
And I'm not gonna make it a two-wheel drive to fit the class. People say, "Oh, we'll just run the class you fit in." I either race daily driver or small tire, big tire, whatever. Like, it can't compete in that.
Right.
And I don't have the pockets to make it compete in that.
Exactly.
So it took me a long time thinking about it because I really, really love that combination. I really did. But between the fact that I couldn't race it in daily driver like it belonged in,
right,
and it was a turbo LS swap like everybody else, I finally said I'm over it. So I cut the cage out of it. I took the fuel cell out of the bed, put the factory fuel tank underneath the bed or underneath the cab again.
Right.
Moved the battery back to the engine bay.
I did that too. I love it.
Dude, my bed's wide open now. I have all the room. It's awesome.
Get ready to carry plywood or whatever you want.
Yeah, just whatever. And I'm surrounded by naturally aspirated big blocks now. And I thought it would be cool to do that, and I still do. It's just taking a while.
Right.
So I found a 604 cubic inch big chief headed big block Chevy for sale for a decent price. And bought that deal, got it to the shop, tore it all apart. It was a built for a nitrous deal, and so it was like 14 to 1, and the cam was like, retarded. Yep. So we're going for a little bit lower compression to be on pump gas, because this will be a complete pump gas deal. And changed the cam up a little bit. Had to change pistons because if we cut the tops off of them like we're going to, and I do end up spraying it because I'm, that stuff happens.
You just never know, right?
Yeah. You gotta be prepared. We were worried they're going to be too thin, burn a hole through it, so change pistons. And other than that, it's mostly the same. I mean, it's got some really quality parts in it. I'm pretty excited about it. It should sound really, really good, and I can't wait to hear it. So
hell yes. Yes.
But we're just going for more of just a daily driver deal. Like, I mean, I want to road trip this thing across the country if I want to.
Hell yeah. 4L80, keeping that in it?
Yes, absolutely. Got to have it. 4L80. Same transfer case that was in it before, that factory 208 putting in work.
Hell yeah.
It's still a factory front 10 bolt. That thing has never been touched.
Hell yes.
I'm pretty excited about it. I put Dakota Digital factory style gauges back in it. So when you look at the interior, I mean, it looks factory again besides the shifter, but I'm not going to go back to the column shift with a manual valve body.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But man, I've had so much enjoyment out of putting a lot of the factory functions back. Like I've realized now that's where my unhappiness was with the truck itself, and
it was too racy. It was too much fancy shit going on.
Correct. If I needed to commit one way or the other, either I was going to lean more into the racing side of it, or I needed to pull back and go the way I'm going now. And how I made my decision was, well, I'm gone so much, I don't have time to race it anyway, and I can't race in the class I want to. So why keep it like that, or why keep?
I may as well turn it more street, and let's do that.
Yep.
Scott, who's Red Hat, of course, wants to know about the huge burnout and oil pressure incident, and big shout out from Michael Narks because I have the video. Here we go.
Stock oil pressure filter is probably good for
right after, like the top of the hill, 30 seconds later, look at that cake. Look at you go. Good for you. Well, good for Miranda. But dude. So 30 seconds later, here you are, taking the top end of your motor apart. What the hell happened there?
Man, that ended up being one of the best times with that truck.
We're catching internet. Okay, no. We're caught up. My pedal internet caught us up. We're good.
All good. So that was was that 20? That had to be KOTOR 22, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it had to be, because 23 was the last year the truck ran, and Zach ended up kicking my ass in hard tire. Anyway, so yeah, it would have been 22. Right. So that was the drive day. We were doing the route and the course and all that, and we get to a checkpoint. I go to leave, and burnouts. They're not mandatory.
That's what you do.
But they're not frowned upon either. So I thought, it'll be all right. I'm on wastegate. It ain't gonna hurt nothing on pump gas. I got the hard tires on. It'll be all right.
Right.
So, it's something I've done 100 times in that thing, just on the limiter, letting her eat. So I pull out there, and I floor it, go through the gears, I roll out. I get to about the top of that hill, and I look down at my screen, and it says I have almost no oil pressure. And I was like, oh my God, did I just blow this thing up doing a burnout? So I immediately shut it off. I pull over, and I get out. I look under the truck, and there's just oil dripping down. I was like, no way did that just happen. I did not just blow that up in a burnout. So I pop the hood, and I'm looking around, and I can see it coming from the back of the intake, and I don't really know why. So again, I do some more looking around, and it ended up blowing the oil pressure sensor out. It was a factory sensor, and it blew through the middle of it, which I had never seen before. But
Oh,
since
like
then,
through where
I've
the
seen,
connector and everything comes out?
yeah, it literally just blew straight through the sensor.
Wow.
So I had never seen that before, but since then I have seen it a few times with factory sensors.
Huh.
And so I was just like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So, Logan Gom, he was there with me, and he was asking me, he's like, do you have a spare sensor? And I was like, yeah, I have one back there, but I got to take this off and take that off and do this and do that. And I was like, dude, like, I don't know if I don't know if I have time for that.
Right.
And I don't remember what made me do it or who talked me into it or whatever, but I just ended up saying, screw it. Like, it is what it is. I have the sensor, so why not try and change it? That's what you do on race week, right? You fix it on the side of the road. So I got to take it apart, and I get to the sensor, and if anybody's ever taken off one of those factory size sensors, they know it takes, not a special socket, but a socket
it's like a
that I
1
didn't.
1/4. It's like a big bastard.
Yeah, it's a socket that I didn't have. So, well, Red Hat Scotty, he showed up, and dude, he stayed the entire time, and he was.
That's the kind of dude he is.
Oh, I mean, I still remember it to this day. I mean, he was very calm, very helpful, like just calming me down, let me know, like, hey man, like you got plenty of time, like it's fine. And we were waving. Of course, I'm sitting on the side of the road after doing all that, and everyone at the checkpoint is now going by us. So we're stopping every person we can to ask if they have the right socket for that.
Right.
And we ended up getting it changed and got it all back together, put a splash of oil back in it just to make up for what we lost. It wasn't even the same oil that was in it.
Yeah,
and
who cares at that point?
Yeah,
like,
it's an LS motor. They don't care.
It doesn't matter.
No. So get it back together, start it, no leaks, got oil pressure again. We're good to go. And we make it back to the track. The next day, I'm entered in hard tire. That was the first time I did hard tire in that thing. And we ended up winning that class.
No kidding. And if you guys don't know, like out of that kind of Tulsa, OKC area, Zach Dykage and a bunch of his teams have some really, really very impressive hard tire.
Yes. I don't know if he was entered that year, but I assume if he was, I wouldn't have won that thing.
You never know. You never know.
Well, he's the one that put me out the second year. So he's the reason I win a personal best on hard tires. I won a 983 or something like that.
On freaking hard tires?
Dude, I had it turned all the way up. So I learned with that thing, no matter what I did, I couldn't leave in first gear. Like it just had too much gear. Like I couldn't get enough out of it without being just way too slow. So I learned to just leave in second and just leave as high and as on much as I could.
Right.
And it worked way better.
Nice.
So that's what I started doing. And so the second year came around, and I had Zach, I think in the either second round or semis or something like that. And I couldn't keep up with him. That's the damnedest thing.
Right. Well, and that dude's got a long history of street and hard tire racing. So
he's done a ton of hard tire racing with that car. A ton. So, but that was to this day, that was probably one of the coolest days, coolest weekends with the truck, because had I given up, I would have never won. Like I'd have given up. So just for me, it meant a lot to myself that I just, no matter how overwhelming, because it seemed very overwhelming at the time.
Right.
And because you got to think, I hardly ever had issues with that truck. So to a lot of people, that would have been a walk in the park. Like they would have been like, oh yeah, just do this.
Yeah, no problem. Easy peasy. Right.
You got to think, like I never had issues with that thing ever. I never had to work on it. My first race week, the only thing I did on the last day was put a quart of oil in it. That's it. That's all I did. Never turned a wrench on it or nothing. So I wasn't used to doing, bye. So I wasn't used to doing roadside stuff at the time. And I don't know. I had a lot of people around me that said, why not? Like you have the stuff to fix it, just do it. So Just did
Vince
it.
wants to know what all is done to the 4L80 in the truck.
Oh man, it's been a long time since we've had that thing apart. One of my good buddies, Sammy Burns, actually built that thing out of his garage, and I mean, he learned transmissions from tech school back in 2016, and he's the one that built the Turbo 400 that I first had in the truck. So it
There you go.
has.
We're caught back up.
Gotcha. At the time, I think it didn't have an input shaft yet. It does now, but it's just, I think it has like a direct forward drum, rollarized bearing in the rear. Like, I mean, it's really the biggest thing we did, and every 480 owner swears by it, is the Extreme Automatics valve body. They said that thing, it's a lifesaver for those, and I agree. I mean, everything I've ever seen out of a fast 480 runs one of those valve bodies.
Right.
But to be honest, like it's really just a basic 480. It's a stock case. It's stock intermediate, stock output. Like it's nothing crazy.
Nice. And that's a heavy truck. And when you're talking, it probably makes, I mean, if you're 950, 140, it probably makes 1400.
I was always on the shy side when I tell people, but when it was turned up, I would say 1250 maybe.
Hey, so, now we're back, dude. I'm sorry, the pedal powdered internet.
You're good.
Not keeping up with us.
But yeah, I'd say 1250 when it was turned up, and I mean, it never really saw past. I think the most it ever saw was 32 pounds.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I got you.
Are we back?
Got you. You got me. I got you.
Man, everything's all robot-y. This is terrible.
Uh-oh. I can't tell if it's me or you. He gone? Is he gone? Oh no.
Hey,
you're back.
Holy crap, I'm sorry, you guys. We're back.
I think you can leave me here by myself.
I'm sorry about that. Holy cow, dude. It's the pedal powered internet. I apologize.
It's all good. All good.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
This is terrible. I'm sorry, y'all. I
can see you.
I can see you too. I think we're coming back. We're getting it. It's the Vince says it's the sunspots. That's the problem. I don't think it's you. I think it's me. Because it kicked me totally out of this thing. That's the first. That's the first time that this thing has done that. That's pretty wild. All right, good times. So if what I was saying is that thing weighs what it weighs at 145 miles an hour. It probably makes like 12 or 1300 horsepower, probably.
Yeah,
somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And what do you think the big block will make? Like probably 700?
We're shooting for 950, 1,000,
Okay.
Yeah. It is so our engine guy, when he was asking me about the cam, he was asking me, he's like, what do you want to do on this? You want to go for like, really streetability? You want to do like max lift? And I said, we're doing max lift. So we put as big of a cam in there as it would allow safely. So we're shooting for 950 ish. It's not going to make.
So you're going to try to go the same speed, but just do it on nuts.
Man, I would. Again, it's not a race truck anymore. That's what I'm telling myself.
Right.
If it could, going back to my original goal when I first started this whole deal, if I could go mid-10s. Yeah, but we know how that goes. So if it could go mid-10s on motor, I'd be pretty stoked. But I'm really trying not to get wrapped up in a number again. Not with that truck anyway. It kind of killed the vibe for me before with it, and I don't want to do it again. So
no, I get it. When stuff gets too racy,
Yeah.
Especially if you get out of that a little bit and you step back from it and you're like, oh, it doesn't need to be that racy.
Yeah.
When you go back to that race car feel, you hate it. You just do.
Now, looking back, had I known that my unhappiness was with the truck and not necessarily with the engine combination, I probably would have left that setup in there for a little bit longer and just done what I've done to the truck itself.
Right.
And probably just ran it like that for a little bit, because it would be running right now. I mean, because I'm 90% done with the truck portion of things. It's just I have to have time and help with our engine guys, because our pro stock engine guys are the ones helping assist on that. So yeah,
Right.
I'm not going to ask them to stop what they're doing or stay late when we're already all staying late trying to work on our pro stock stuff. So that's why it takes longer than I wanted to, which is fine. Like it is what it is.
Such is life. So
Yep.
I mean, you're going to get it done. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to love it when it's done.
Yep.
And right now, you're working. You have the same job I do. It's like a lot of work, but it's like if they asked me to do it for free, I probably would do it for free.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like whatever, man, it's all good.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, sorry, we're back again. Just technical difficulties all night. This is terrible. I'm not sure what's up with the pedal powered internet, but I gotta know what do people in the elite camp, from drivers to whatever, what do people in that world think about this?
Man, to be honest, they are so, it's sad to say, but they are disconnected. They like the little bit that they know about like mine and Declan's vehicles, they think it's cool. Like it's different, but they think it's cool. And honestly, some of them were telling me, do not mess with your truck. Just leave it the way it is. And they really like the way it was. But as a whole, you'd be surprised how disconnected they are from this world. A lot of them have no idea about what these cars are capable of.
Right.
And I mean, because you got to think, a lot of these people, I mean, they have been fully surrounded by NHRA their whole life.
It's all they know is big floppy tires and NA 500-inch big blocks.
Exactly. And it the same goes as streetcar guys. Like, if they came to a NHRA race, they too might be lost. They might have no idea what they're looking at. So it's the same. But it's funny because when I came in and Logan Gone was here, like, we're the only two really streetcar guys there. And they would give us so much shit for it. They're like, that stuff is dumb. Like, we're all about big tires and NA and this and that. And I'm like, no, you don't even know. You don't know, okay? Let me show you what's really cool. And so I drove my truck up there one day, and they were looking at it, and they're like, all right, this is actually kind of cool, not gonna lie. And, you know, when Declan got there, he had his truck too, and it was always funny to me how the disconnect was. Like, they're over here, we're over there. We didn't know about their world, they didn't know about ours. Like, it's honestly pretty crazy to think about. I mean,
that's a little wild. I think you ought to like push to take like a Freeman with you as a co-pilot on your next drag and drive.
they wouldn't know what to do. They would have no idea what to do.
That's okay. Just take them with you and just be like, dude, we're going to go for a week. And
I would have to say that they, at the end of it, they would probably think it's the coolest shit they've ever been a part of. I mean, It's hard to leave a drag and drive and think, man, that was dumb. You know, I mean, nobody does that. So, trust me, if we had time, I would love to take them on a drag and drive. I want to go back myself, but I don't have time.
Right. So, and you'll get back and you'll do it with your new truck and it'll be sweet and you'll whatever. You'll probably do it with your new lady too. And, we were talking about that. Like, this is kind of your first year racing with a significant other. And I'm sure that adds a whole different level of everything to everything, but
it does.
I know that she, I mean, knowing her, and if you guys don't know, man, she's awesome as hell. She's a photographer. Yeah, and you guys are cute as hell together, which is awesome. There you are, right there. But that adds a whole different level to it. But has she ever ridden in the truck?
Oh yeah. So funny story about that. So our technical first date would have been KOTOR in 23. So when I threw my axle bearing out that whole day, so they had the Friday night meet at Twin Peaks, and Declan and I, we drove up there with our trucks, and she was there walking around the parking lot. She came over, and we had talked a little bit before that night. She came over, and we were just, talking about the truck and the weekend and all that. And she was talking about how she didn't know if she had a ride for the next day because the one that she was going to go with, they had a problem with the car or whatever. So,
right.
I thought she was dropping hints, So I was like, well, I've got an open seat if you want to go with me. And, well, it turns out that's not what she was actually doing.
She didn't want to go with you at all. She didn't give it a crap.
No, she did, but she was not dropping hints like I thought she did. And so anyway, I told her I had an open seat, and she took me up on it. And old reliable truck, was not really reliable that day. So
perfect,
we got
of
to
course.
middle of nowhere, Dibble, Oklahoma. And what's funny, so the night before, I have to back up. The night before, Declan and I were on our way home back to our apartment because we lived at the same complex at the time. And we were pulling in, and he was behind me, and I heard a squeaking sound. And I thought it was his truck because his, if you've ever seen his truck, his whole front end bolts on like our prostock cars, but it's factory sheet metal and all that. So there you are. I thought the front end was just squeaking on a little bit. Didn't think anything of it. So we leave out the next morning. We're on the cruise, and we're pulling into Dibble, Oklahoma there you go. We're pulling along the route on Dibble, and just this hellacious screaming. I just started hearing, and I was like, I looked over at Miranda and was like, I don't know what that is. And she stuck her head out the window, and it was coming from the back of the truck. I was like, no way. I was like, another intake deal. No way this is happening. Or, the oil pressure sensor. I was like, this is the second year in a row for this to happen. So
yeah, what the hell, dude? After never having problems for years and years and years, now you're just hammering your stuff.
I don't know. And it only happened on that race, too. That's the only time it happened is at the KOTOR race. So we pull into that high school parking lot right there, and we get out, and that axle bearing is just smoking. I mean, it burnt the powder coat off my housing. And thank God for Declan. He's very well-rounded. He's a lot more well-rounded at mechanics than I am as far as just everything.
He's a really good wrench. He knows a ton of that.
Yes.
A ton of the stuff.
Like,
that truck's a big block Mopar on nitrous. Yes.
I feel like I'm pretty well, mechanically inclined, but he's pretty good at just about everything. So thank God he was with me. And so and my rear end it's a Dana 60, so he's familiar with that stuff.
Okay.
And so we pulled the axle out and realized obviously the bearing was smoked. So he took his truck, he found a bearing for it at O'Reilly, and he left to go get it. And I sat there and, just kept filling with the truck, getting like the bearing was, it was just destroyed
wasted. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's bad. So he went and got the bearing, came back, grabbed the axle. They had found somebody with a press nearby, and Miranda, Squishy, and Declan took off, went to his house, and he sent me a picture. At one point, they had the bearing on. The guy was grilling food, and the guy Declan put the bearing on, on the grill. Said, here, can I put this on there for a second? So, Declan got the bearing off the axle and got the other one pressed on, and dude, like I just felt like the whole day was wasted. Like I was having fun, but I wasn't. I was watching everybody drive by,
Right.
and
And you're
you know,
thrashing on your stuff.
dude, like at one point I was just sitting there waiting on them to get back because what am I going to do? Like I can't do anything at that point. And of course, people stopped in there. A lot of people stopped in and asked me if I needed anything, but
Right.
I was just waiting. You know, I was just
And
killing
and
Donna.
and meanwhile you've got this girl who you're like,
Yeah,
you know,
first date not going
like,
well.
yeah, the first date, like, hey, you know, I mean, you're a pretty girl, and you're driving, you know, riding in my truck, and I promise you, it's not normally this big a piece of shit, but you know, it is
I
right
think I said that
now.
at one point.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you know, fast forward to today, and you know,
Yep.
you guys get to see each other naked. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Well, I learned that she's a lot more laid back than what I knew her and I knew of her, but I learned a lot that day. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So they eventually got back with the axle. We threw it in there. Once again, we took off down the road and went to the checkpoint and hauled ass back to the track, turned in our coin, and the next day I didn't win that deal.
Technical. But I'm sorry, dude. This is terrible.
You got me? Hey, I got you.
We're back.
Perfect.
I got you. You're back. We're back.
So that was in 23. Went to the track the next day, and that's when Zach put me out in hard tire. That's when I went my personal best. So it wasn't a total loss, you know. The fact, you know, had Miranda with me, ran a personal best on hard tire. We just made it to the track in general. It wasn't a total loss.
Not at all. Not at all. Hell yeah,
But
dude. That's awesome.
And
yeah, I mean, you ended up with Miranda knowing that she can handle you kind of at your worst, and yeah, whatever. It's all good.
She's very in. When we started this deal, I told her, I was like, I can't. And to be honest, I was really worried about getting in a relationship while being at this job because I just knew it was going to be tough, right? So when that whole deal started, I told her, I was like, look, I can't give this up. Like it's a dream job, and I've been down that road before of giving something up for somebody else and ended up biting me in the ass, and I can't do it again.
Right.
And been extremely supporting and extremely understanding of everything, and especially this year with us. I mean, every time we come home, like I feel like we're going to the track testing, and she's been to, you know, a couple of the test sessions just so she could be there, you know, like as soon as I get home, we're unloading, reloading, and going to test. And she came with us a couple times, and just to be there and hang out. So that's, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Nothing, dude. And I mean, and then on top of that, I mean, check out that cake. So
yeah, she's pretty lucky, huh?
Good for her, dude. I mean, way to go. Way to go. Because we're having the technical stuff, I'm going to get into my questions now and start getting those rocking and rolling.
Okay.
And I'm sorry about that, y'all. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. I never have issues like this, but whatever. Stevie's probably downloading.
I never have issues either, but you know, it happens.
it happens, right? Exactly. Stevie's probably down there downloading the That's Cool Drink podcast.
Yeah.
New updates of that coming out very soon. I am a handful of episodes, 10 or so episodes behind this one on those uploads, but you can get those wherever you get all your normal podcasts. So make sure you check that out. But Mr. Deet-Er-Leeeeeee, what is the largest thrash that you've been a part of?
Oh man. Well, prostock,
and that can be prostock, that can be your stuff, that can be whatever. That is some cake, says Chris Story Photo.
Man, honestly, like I said, I haven't really ever had to really thrash on my own truck a lot. Besides, you know, the oil pressure debacle, but that wasn't really a thrash. I would have to say it came from prostock for sure. So one that I can remember last year, we were in Chicago. Oh dear. There you are. And
I'm sorry, dude. Holy cow.
All good. All good. We were in Chicago last year, and I don't remember if we were in the semis or the quarterfinals, and we had just absolutely grenaded an engine in Aaron's car, and it was literally running away on its own oil. I mean, it was one of those deals like Aaron, like it was a complete whiteout. You couldn't see anything. And
oh, wow.
He won the round, right? So we get down there and get it off the track, look at everything. And I mean, it's just completely just nuked. So we get back to the pit, and I want to say we had to be on the semis of the final. I don't remember, but we had about no time to get it done. I mean, as soon as you get back to the pit, I mean, you're having to go back up. And it depends if you're on live TV, the times are a lot quicker because they're trying to stay on schedule. Like, you got to go now. So anyway, we get back to the pit, pull the clutch out, trans out, drive shaft, all that, pull the engine out, and we throw another one back in. And I mean, no sooner than I got everything buttoned up, we were going back up there. Well, we ended up winning that round, and we ended up going to the final. We lost. That was the first finals I had been to with Aaron that year, and that was kind of the start of our season last year. And we lost in the finals that round, but just the fact that we were able to get that thing back after just completely just nuking it, getting it turned around, back out there, and winning the next round. I mean, there's going rounds with our guys. I mean, it's a tough. You can't explain it. I mean, when you're just in the groove, I mean, you're just turning and burning. I mean, you and your guys, like, you get into such a system, like, you're just doing it almost subconsciously, really.
It's muscle memory. You just sort of do it like you've got your job, they've got their job, everything just happens. It's like an orchestra. And
when it's all happening just synchronized, it's the coolest thing to be a part of. And it's definitely pro stock related as far as the biggest thrash we've had. And changing engines it's easy in those cars. You can take an engine out and have it running in 15 minutes if you're hauling ass. So they're made to work on. And it's like I told you in Vegas, it's hard to go work on my own truck after working on a pro stock car because they're so easy to work on.
Yep. 45-minute turnaround, is that pretty typical?
Yeah, that's about, until you start getting the later rounds, 45 minutes. Yeah, that's about usual. But if you're going to the finals, you better be getting it back and getting it turned around quick. Right. So,
and like we were talking in Vegas, like, you resurface the clutch. It's a centered iron disc, dual disc clutch. So you redo the clutch, and you almost always redo the gear ratios and the transmission in between rounds. That was surprising to me.
Yep. Every pass we come back, put the car up in the air, drive shaft comes out, transmission, the bell housing, and the clutch. So I do the clutch on Aaron's car, resurface every face of the disc or every face of each disc, and reset it back, reset ring height, get everything back to zero again. And like I told you in Vegas, consistency is the biggest thing in pro stock, really in any racing. It's do the same thing the same way every time,
over and over and over.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to, like, we want the same person doing it, because if it's a feel thing, we want the same person with that feeling the same thing.
Right.
So, but yes, the transmission, we usually change all five gears every run, because the air change, like, we're chasing the air constantly.
Right.
So changing all five gears. If the air swings enough, you'll change a rear gear. Mm-hmm. And after a pass, the engine guy, he'll check the spring rating, so he'll have a spring checker and make sure they're either not broken or they haven't gone down too much, and he'll check valve lash and just make sure it's everything's happy. Make sure you didn't burn up a push rod tip or break an adjuster or anything like that, and put it back together and put the chiller on it and let it sit,
and then just ready to go for whenever that is.
Yep. We do the same thing every and it doesn't matter if we only do a burnout and we shake, we do the same thing every time. Doesn't matter. Clutch comes out, transmission comes out, engine gets checked every single time.
It could be under violence for 1 second, and
Oh yeah,
all of that stuff still happens.
you would be surprised how hard it is on an engine when they shake. I mean, it's not easy on parts, that's for sure. So
Well, and especially when you're talking a clutch, like even a slipper clutch, it's engaged when you get the RPM.
uh-huh.
There's no rubber band in there. There's no fluid
No.
to it. You know,
Well,
I mean, it's
and the same thing goes for the drivers too. They try and do the same thing every single time. The same, from the way they pull into the water box, how they do their burnout, how they back up, how they pull into the beams. I mean, everything. The more you can get it to be the same, the better you can tune the car. So it's just, it is some of the most difficult racing I've ever seen, and that I've ever been a part of. It's just, and like I said, and that's why.
Oh yeah.
That's why it's not a big field, because it's not an entry level class for sure. Unless it, and Greg Anderson said it, and a lot of other people have said it, anybody can drive a pro stock car, but not everybody can drive one perfect. It is extremely difficult.
Sorry, lost you.
Oh,
Greg Anderson said
anybody can drive a pro stock car, but not everybody can drive one perfect.
Right.
So it is, I mean, it's, and when they introduced the rev limiter, before people would rev them to 11,000, 11.1, 11.2, whatever. Well, when they introduced the rev limiter at 10.5, now your shifting window became a lot smaller. So before, if you missed it high, no big deal. You might kill a valve spring or two, but you're not running into the limiter. Well, now if you miss a high, you're hitting the limiter and slowing down. But if you shift early, well, now you're slowing down again. So your window for shifting is incredibly small. And the fact that these drivers can even do that consistently is a feat in itself.
And after cutting like a 10 light on a 410 Pro tree, by the way.
Yeah.
So
that's a big thing in pro stock too, is whole shot wins. And we love a whole shot win, because that means our driver did his job.
Yep.
So it just, I don't know. I've learned so much from being here and just being around everyone involved. It's almost too much to learn, to be honest. I mean, it's but you can, like, if you're willing to learn and you just listen, you can learn a lot. You don't even have to ask questions. You just listen to conversations and you can learn a lot.
Right.
So,
hell yeah.
and that's kind of what I've tried to do. So,
what's your favorite racetrack? This will be a good one. You've been to a ton of racetracks.
Man, people ask me this all the time, and it's tough because they're all pretty cool in their own ways. But I think the one, well, RIP, but Bandimere was at the top.
Hell yeah.
It was definitely at the top. Now that it's gone, I'd have to say probably Sonoma is my top one now. Just the location that it's in, the fact it's in the middle of the NASCAR track. I mean, it's just a cool area, really.
Yeah.
Bristol's really cool down in that bowl between the valleys, and you got the NASCAR track next to it.
Right.
Man, they're all pretty cool. Now there's some out there that's just like, it's just a racetrack, but a lot of them, like, they're all cool in their own way. So it's
totally,
that one's a tough one to narrow down. Just
I dig it a lot. But the one I gave you a heads up on, whose car would you like to campaign for an event, and whose car would you like to own? They can't be the same car.
Oh man, it took me a minute to think about it, but if I could drive one for a week, it'd have to be Brett LaSalle's car.
Dude,
that car, it just, and I'm a turbo guy. Even though I'm going big block natural aspirated, I'll always be a turbo guy no matter what. And just the way that car gets up on the two-step, or really the three-step, the trans brake, God, I don't know. There's really not another car out there like it right now. And he's been crushing it.
And you're so right. The sound it makes, it doesn't, nothing sounds like it.
No.
It gets on the three-step. It starts opening dumps.
Yeah.
and it does some crazy stuff. And then it goes, 1 teams to 60 foot, which isn't quite pro stock, but I think he's gone 6.0 something
Yeah,
7.
He's gone 6.0. He's been 390s. So
Right.
it's
That's insane on a 275 tire and 302 cubic inches.
I mean, I would say it's the baddest drag and drive car out there right now. I mean,
100%. I don't think you would get very much argument from nearly anybody except maybe Tom Bailey, but he hasn't actually proven it yet.
No.
One run, he's got the quickest run, but he does not have the quickest average.
Yeah, but when it comes to drag and drive stuff, I don't look at the quickest. I don't really care about that. Even just the quickest average is what I'm looking at. So.
Yeah, I mean, he drives that crap down the street and almost went 5s on a 275 with 302 cubic inches and drove it. I think sick week this year was almost 900 miles. That's legit, dude.
It's a factory body too, and I love factory bodies. So, the fact some would argue it's a pro mod, but it's not. Like it's still a factory body car. So
right.
It just flat out works, and
it
would. God, I could only imagine driving that thing for a week and just, it'd be fun. I can tell you that.
So you drive that one. Which one are you putting in your garage?
Honestly, it's gonna be Doug Cook's Nova, the blue one, Bubba's Nova.
Hell yeah!
So that car was probably. I'll see it on Snapchat every now and then, just one of Doug's stories, or even on Instagram, whatever. And man, just seeing him hop in that thing and just drive it in a factory form. Just got my wheels turning. Like, dude, I really want to do that with mine now.
Yep.
So,
and it looks factory. It doesn't have any roll bars or nothing in it. The gauges look factory. I've driven that car actually. He shipped that car up here to drive on the Good Guys cruise with Mr. Sam with it last year. And so he shipped it up to my house and I drove it across town. I didn't drive it with any anger or nothing. I didn't want to wang it up, but it's it's like a perfect driver car. It doesn't have great paint. It has presentable paint, but it's not like show car paint.
And that's
good
perfect.
enough you can drive it, and it's got, if you guys don't know, it's got an LSA. It's got real nice PRC heads and stuff. It would probably run in the 10-second range, something like that. And you would never know. It's dog dish hubcaps. It's vinyl roof.
It's cool.
It's bench seat with vintage air. It's cool as hell. That car is badass.
It is, and again, it was kind of the inspiration. Like it's kind of what made me want to do what I'm doing with mine. Like just make it a driver. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, I would hop in that car and take it cross country in a heartbeat.
Oh, all day.
Absolutely.
All day. And it's a 4L80. It's
Miranda and I want to do a Route 66 trip so bad we can't stand it. So this past week,
gangster.
actually, I worked half a day Saturday because, why wouldn't we? And as soon as I left there, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry.
You're back.
Hey.
Oh, good.
Jesus.
So,
this has been terrible.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I've seen worse. I can promise.
I know. I have too. My four followers. It's your girlfriend. It's my wife, and a couple of my buddies. Thank you guys for sticking in.
All good. So, yeah, we took off Saturday after I left work, and we just did a random spontaneous road trip to the Big Tex in there in Amarillo, Texas, and ate at that steakhouse. Stayed at one of the cabins, and we took Route 66 all the way back, and we just couldn't stop saying, look at that, wow, like just all the things that used to be, So I would love to take Doug's car or a car like that on a Route 66 trip.
I'm sorry, you guys. There we go. We're back. Hey,
we are back,
dude. All right, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put an ice pick in this one. We're gonna call it a night. But I gotta know, with your truck getting put back together, when can we realistically see that thing?
Oh man, I'd say by summer. So
Okay.
really, all I got left to do, I have all the parts for the engine. I just have everything but time. We just need to figure out the installed height for the new valve springs, and once we figure that out, assemble the heads, slap them on. The short block's already assembled. Just need to slap the heads back on it, put the pan on, put the intake on. I would like to dyno it if we had time, but I don't think we're going to have time, and I'm not going to ask them to make time either. So I've never dynoed any of my stuff before. I've always just put it in and ran it. So just if I can just catch a couple days, where nobody's not super busy, get that deal put together, slap in the truck. I have everything for the fuel system, so I can just run the lines, what's in there. And all of my electrical work seems to be working. So just wrap all that up. I have a harness from Devin Vanderhoof, and it's going to be, I'm going to put stock truck coil packs on it from an LS engine. Imagine that. So it's going to be wired up like engine harness wise, like an LS would be. So
cool.
It'll all be plug and play stuff. Once the engine is in the truck, a lot of it's just plug and play. So I'm really hoping it's done by fall, because when we get those nice 2 days of weather in Oklahoma, I'd really like to drive it.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yes.
But,
my last question for us tonight. What is your nickname at Elite Motorsports?
it's Red Jesus. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's the Red Jesus.
Yep. Man, look at that long hair. Jesus.
When are we bringing that back?
Hopefully not. Hopefully that was out of control is what that was.
I don't know. I think Miranda might dig on that, because that's
I don't know. She might, but I don't.
Hear, because it's the Red Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I first started, I came in with long hair like that, and they're like, "Man, you're like the Red Jesus." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And they're like, "I don't know."
You're like, "It's me."
Yeah. So it's stuck ever since. So yeah, I'm Red Jesus now.
You are the Red Jesus, and that's the best part of my job, is that I get to know that and get to bring that to the Dragon Drive people.
Yeah.
As well.
Now they all know.
Hell yes.
God. That's fun.
Awesome, dude. I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate you sticking in here with the technical stupidness and staying up late and partying with us a little bit.
Absolutely. I got to be up, and I think we're leaving.
Lost me there too. Hey, there we go.
Uh-oh. You got me? Oh, no. Oh, no. I wish I could screenshot that. Uh-oh. Adam.
I hope you guys. Terrible. I just have you doing this.
I got you now. We're so close. We're so close.
All right. I apologize, y'all. We're gonna call it a night.
Oh no, we may have lost him completely. I think we lost him. Oh no. Oh.
You back?
There you are. Oh no, he's gone again.
Okay, I'm sorry, dude. You get to run
there
this
you
show
are.
all night long.
That one was bad.
Holy cow! This is ridiculous. I'm losing it.
Don't worry about it.
We're losing it. Blaine's losing it. There we go. Hey. Ah, crap. All right, guys. Thank you, Travis. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with this long, ridiculous technical issue deal. We're going to figure this out, because next week I have Mr. Mike Finnegan on, so I will have this running before that episode is going. But tonight, Mr. Travis, thank you so much for tuning in with us. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I'm sorry it turned out so crappy.
Don't worry about it. It wasn't crappy. No,
it wasn't crappy. It was awesome.
No, it was awesome.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Oh, Chris Story got the screenshot. Apparently, there's a screenshot of freeze frame Adam Dory. There we are.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait. Ass. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Travis, for hanging out with us. And we will hopefully see you soon. And next week, Tuesday at 7 o'clock, Mr. Mike Finnegan. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me an hour and a half of glitching and pedal-powered internet. Travis, thank you so much for kicking all the lot lizards out and hanging up late with us. And, dude, it's awesome. Very, very cool stuff. And thanks for rocking with us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adam.
Yep, you got it. Guys, thank you so much. I'm going to throw Travis in the background here real quick. And again, guys, thank you so much. And I apologize for the technical issues, and we will get those figured out. Miranda's in for stickers as well, which is going to be awesome. I wonder if Travis has got himself an also freeze-framed, and both of us are doing this. I hope so. Vince is in for a sticker as well. But guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week is Mr. Mike Finnegan, and it's going to be absolutely crazy and off the chain. But that said, tonight is Wednesday night, a special episode of Wednesday Night That's Cool Drink with Mr. Travis Deet-Er-Leeeeeee. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We are done for tonight. See you guys.